Hey guys, I wanted to make a video to replace one I posted about 2 weeks ago. I realized after I posted it that the lighting in it was so bad that it was virtually impossible to see some of the information that I was trying to give you. I was writing on a whiteboard and the lighting at that time was just absolutely horrible. So I've come up with some numbers I want to share with you, and I always feel uncomfortable sharing this kind of information. Not because it's super secret or anything, but just because I think a lot of people hear it as bragging, and it's not intended as bragging. It's intended to be motivational. I want anyone watching this video to understand what kind of potential Amazon has for them. And so what I'm going to do, I want to share with you what my year looks like, what a typical year looks like, and in this case specifically what 2022 looked like for me. I plan out my year usually in late December, early January of any given year. And I do that because, one, I take a lot of vacation time, as you'll see in just a second. And the other reason is that I also incorporate other interests in my life in terms of hobbies and doing things like attending trade shows and traveling quite a bit. So again, this is not for bragging purposes. This is just to show you the potential. So if you'll bear with me for a second through the magic of pivoting tripods, I'm going to show you my screen here, and we'll go over some of the details. Okay, and we're back. So this is what my year in 2022 looked like, and this might sound a little ambitious for a lot of people, but it's really not. It's important to have free time. It's important to take time off so that you can stay fresh and motivated and engaged in your business. And I find that, within reason, taking more time off is actually beneficial to me, just in terms of my overall happiness and satisfaction with life, and also in terms of my profit margin. It allows me to make better decisions. So this doesn't really change a lot for me year to year. I have the same target goals every year, but my goal is to take 1 month off per quarter, to take 1 week off per month. And when you do that, you end up with about 185 working days. So I keep track of the number of hours that I spend doing work for Amazon, and it worked out to about 575 hours last year. Yep, those 575 hours were spread out over about 185 total working days. And that actually works out to about 3 hours a day, slightly more than 3 hours a day, as you see here on the screen. So with me, I don't really work every day. I tend to work a couple of long days, like literally 16, 18-hour days, and then I just check in pretty much every day for about 15 minutes to just make sure I don't have any ad campaigns that have stopped for some reason, that I don't have any products that are stalled for some reason. But I spend very little time on a day-to-day basis, but at the end of the week I put in my hours. But anyway, I'll get to that in just a second in more detail. But so last year I spent 4 weeks in Puerto Rico early in the year. Spent 4 weeks in Mexico, 4 weeks in Canada, 2 weeks in Las Vegas. That was, in fact, 2 week-long trips. 2 weeks in Lake Tahoe, and again, that was 2 week-long trips. Spent 2 weeks in Austria and Germany. I went there for a Formula One race. I spent 1 week in Texas. That was also for a Formula One race. 1 week in England, also for a Formula One race. 1 week in Miami, also for a Formula One race. If you can't tell, I enjoy Formula One, and it's been a lifelong dream of mine to kind of follow the circuit around. And over the last 10 years or so, I think I've seen just about every track that is currently in use, and I will see more this year. You get a more detailed breakdown of how the week works. I'm making a little bit of fun here when I say, a 3.01 hour workday sounds like a lot. But for those of you who are out there just burning the midnight oil and you're working double shifts, you're working 10, 12, 16 hours a day, 3 hours a day is virtually a vacation. And it's really a question of just getting in the groove. If you like to work every day, then certainly you have 3 hours a day of work that you can do. And if you're like me and you prefer to kind of group your hours more densely, you could work a couple of long days or maybe 3 days a week and have another 4 days just to do what you like. But again, this is only for 185 work days. This is how many days I worked for the entire year. So again, I'm taking off basically half the year completely. 1 month off per quarter and 1 week off per month. And you can time shift. You when something comes up, when you get sick, or you just need a day off for some reason, just a mental health day off, you can time shift. These things are not the task that you have as an Amazon seller are not super time sensitive in most cases, and you can put things off for a day or two if you need to or you want to. That's the joy of being self-employed and owning your own business. You no longer have to work on other people's schedules. So in the course of a week, one of my work weeks, I spend about 4 hours a week on product research, about 6 hours on shipping and logistics. That's getting my products ready to ship from wherever they're coming from. I source products from India, China, the U.S., Canada, Vietnam, and Mexico currently. And it takes about 6 hours a week just to stay on top of things and make sure that my products will arrive where they need to arrive and when they need to arrive there in order to keep me from running out. And then I spend about 8 hours running ads. Your ad campaigns are really the gasoline that powers the entire engine of selling on Amazon. And so I run ads both on and off Amazon. And it takes about 8 hours a week. That's actually my favorite part of the job. You may hate it, but I enjoy it quite a bit. And then I spend about 4 hours a week on miscellaneous things. I have 2 full-time employees, and miscellaneous kind of speaks to them a little bit in terms of offering some guidance and feedback on what they're doing, keeping them aware of things that are about to happen that they need to be prepared for, and just doing other various miscellaneous things, whether it's making sure that my taxes are done in a timely fashion. I'm looking at my various KPIs on Amazon, making sure that my products are performing well, both individually and collectively. And just, again, miscellaneous is miscellaneous for a reason. This is just a catch-all for things that don't fall under product research or shipping or ad placement. So that's what a week looks like for me, and that's what my year looked like last year. So here's what 2023 has looked like so far. I've been tired, so I have not actually traveled a great deal so far this year. I spent 1 week in Las Vegas for a white label expo. That was a sourcing trip. Spent 2 weeks in Mexico. That was also a sourcing trip. And then I spent roughly a month in China for Canton Fair. That was the first time I've been back to China since 2019. I was there in October. Typically, I go to Canton Fair twice a year. They have, the trade show is every April and every October, and they've been doing that since sometime in the 1960s, I believe. And I've been attending on a regular basis since about 2010. It is just mind-blowing, and I will tell you that after having been there now, I think 20 or 21 times, I'm only now getting to the point where I'm making best use of the show in terms of being able to focus in on products that I want to carry, and also just being able to tune out a lot of the noise that's there. There's just so much to see. There is just so much to see that it's overwhelming for first-time visitors. I've taken several groups of students with me in the past, and it's just like going to your first state fair or going to the circus for the first time as a kid. It's just a mind-altering, mind-bending experience to see everything that's on offer in Canton. So I highly recommend that you go. Coming up later in 2023, the things I know about for sure is that August I will be in Las Vegas for the ASD Market Week. September through November, I will be headed to Thailand, time off. And I will also be going to the October Canton Fair, I believe. Haven't completely made up my mind, but if I'm in Thailand, I have a hard time believing I would not go to China when it's a 2-hour flight. So I'm pretty much guaranteed that I'll end up in China in October. And in November, I will be going to Nepal. And I will also be attending the Formula One race in Singapore, which is a race I have not been to before, but I'm really looking forward to it. I love that track. And then later in November, the last week of November, I will be in Abu Dhabi for the Formula One race. And then I will be back in the U.S. for December, as far as I know, and probably do what I do every year, which is end up in Lake Tahoe. So, okay, there you have it. That was what 2022 looked like. And again, this is just motivation. If you're toiling away, at your 8-to-5 job, and maybe you've got a side hustle somewhere, and you're just feeling burned out, and you're not really getting ahead in life, there's hope for you. There are things that you can do. I strongly suggest that you consider Amazon FBA. Amazon is an infinitely scalable business. You can grow it to levels that are just way beyond what I've ever accomplished. But if you're like most people, you get to a point where you're comfortable, you are taking care of all your needs, you're out of debt, and honestly, the sky is bluer and the grass is greener when you're not struggling to make ends meet and you're not under this crushing pressure to get out of bed every day and pay your bills. Amazon has given me the vehicle to achieve my goals, and I think it can help you achieve your goals as well. If you haven't done so already, how about hitting like and subscribe? It really helps me rebuild this channel. I took 3 years off during the pandemic, and all my subscribers just kind of went away. I like to train people in a no-nonsense, no hype kind of fashion. So this may be the most boring channel on YouTube, but it's one that gives you the best information.